On this episode of Travelogue, come with us to experience the beauty of Daocheng. We'll get our hands dirty helping the locals and check out the old home of one of Tam's most mysterious families. We'll get a taste of the unique culture in Xiangcheng, watch llamas in a heated debate, and visit an ancient lamassery built inside a cave in the mountains. So sit back and enjoy the next exciting 30 minutes.
Hi and welcome to Travelogue. I'm Taran, and after visiting sacred snow-capped mountains, we're now on our way through Daocheng, where we'll experience the harmony between nature, religion and the traditional way of Tibetan life. We'll pass through Xiangcheng and its scattered white brick houses and finally arrive at Derong on the border between Sichuan and Yunnan. Let's get back on the road.
Although we've already found Joseph Rock's Shangri-La, we still haven't finished our travels. Our route back from Ruwa passes by the spectacular Masyong Valley with its multicoloured forests. And I've been told that come spring, the landscape changes to seas of rhododendrons covering the mountainsides. Our destination today is Daocheng, where most people stop off before continuing on to Ruwa and the Yading Nature Reserve. Daocheng's actually a 3-hour drive from Ruwa, so be sure to make your return journey during the day, lest you miss out on the amazing views. After driving across countless plateaus and 4,000-metre high mountains, we finally reached Daocheng, where the order of the day was to find accommodation.
It's a really wonderful afternoon, and after looking through a lot of hotels and hostels, I decided on this one because it's got a really nice family feel to it, and sitting here in this courtyard with the sun on my face, it feels really, really relaxing. And what's really nice is that it's got such a nice family feel, and everyone's kind of sitting outside playing cards and drinking tea. It's really relaxing.
The owners of the hostel actually live in the room next to mine, so it was an added bonus that I could pop in for a chat when they were free. The main attraction for me was the hostel's traditional Tibetan architecture, complete with slanted stone walls and decorated square windows. Most guest houses in Daocheng follow this style, and there are plenty to take your pick from.
Alright guys, this is my room. I'm staying in this really nicely decorated Tibetan style dorm, and it's actually quite cheap. It's around 30 RMB for one bed.
The next morning, we struggled out of bed at 5 AM as we'd heard the sunrise over Sula village is one of Daocheng's most unmissable events.
If you want to get a real taste of Tibetan life, you have to get up early in the morning, and you'll see the locals milk their yaks, send them out to graze, and then collect the yak pats as well. Yeah.
Though it's not the most pleasant thing to look at, yak dung is very important for Tibetans. It's used as fuel for their fires, allowing them to cook, boil water and keep warm.
So she's now separating out this huge pile of yak pats, and I've got my brick of dried yak pat at the ready, and once she's finished I'm going to start flattening them as well. It feels really weird, but it's actually really clean, and there's no nasty smell or anything. It's hard work. And to think, this one lady, she collects all of the yak pats, in that basket of hers, and she brings it here and starts patting it all by herself. It's really not mud. I've got less on this hand, but it actually doesn't smell too bad.
Seeing my diligence, my new friend invited me to join her for butter tea with her family. Villagers here are very welcoming and will often invite people to their homes. Moving on, our next stop lies at the old residence of a very interesting family.
The locals tell me that that huge poplar tree over there was the first poplar tree in Daocheng, and that all the other poplar trees you see around you are the seeds of this one. Let's go look.
Folklore says the founder of the family here was a living Buddha. After returning from his spiritual wanderings, he planted his walking stick made of poplar into the soil. From this grew a huge poplar tree, the first in Daocheng and the mother of all the poplars here. The family that lived here is something of a miracle in the Kam region. For over 700 years, each of its 20 generations had a living Buddha reincarnated into the clan. Not only that, they even had living Buddhas of two opposing sects living peacefully here. As such, you can find two prayer rooms inside this house, one for the Yellow Hat sect and one for the Stripe sect. The family still has living Buddhas to this day, but they've now vacated this house in order to turn it into a family museum.
I found this old Buddhist sutra tablet lying around, and I don't know how old this is, but just feeling all the rivets and the lettering, it feels incredible. It's like I've found some kind of old treasure, and I can just imagine how many centuries, how many generations worth of living Buddhas might have read the same sutra as well.
The best form of transport here in Daocheng is actually a bicycle, and I've rented one for a day for around 20 RMB, and I'm going to go see the sights around town. Even though I'm at quite high altitude, this bicycle ride is really, really relaxing. I've got the sun shining on my right side of my face, I've got the mountains, and I've got the golden trees to the left of me. It's really, really, really calming and relaxing here. As fun as it is to cruise around on your bike, do remember to take it slow, as the air here is still quite thin. Regardless, if the exercise doesn't take your breath away, I'm sure the scenery definitely will.
I've cycled for 1.5 hours, and I finally reached the Bampu Lamasery, which is the biggest here in Daocheng and belongs to the Kagyupa sect, the white sect. Let's go inside.
Almost everyone in Daocheng follows Buddhism, and there are several lamaseries here within easy reach. However, I've come to Bangpo Lamasery, as I've yet to visit one belonging to the white sect. This establishment was built towards the end of the 12th century, and is purportedly the oldest lamasery in Daocheng.
One of the most important reasons for people visiting the Bampu Lamasery is the statue of the founder of the white sect that he created with his own hands. Remember, when you're visiting, you must take off your shoes.
This statue is of the Kamapa Dusum Khenpa, one of the founders of the Kagyu sect. There are in fact 4 main schools of Tibetan Buddhism, traditionally distinguished by the colour worn by their followers. As such, the Kagyu sect is also known as the white sect for the white robe their founder wore while meditating. This group is particularly mysterious, as its teachings are passed down orally, so the relationship between teacher and student is highly stressed. But that's not all. I've been told this lamassery holds something else that's also very dear to its followers.
Legend has it that the first Karmapa wrote some words onto the rocks above, and we're going to go and climb and see if we can decipher them. 来，咱们走吧。爬，你先走，你先走，我不知道路。
Few people have actually climbed up to read the Karmapa's words, and fewer have understood them as they're written in old Tibetan script. However, I wanted to see for myself what was written there, and see if my guide could make heads or tails of them.
这曾经给你4万地方打坐过，修行过。对，修行了过后，他有个感悟，他现在马上有可能要走了，但是只要你们按照他说过的话去修行，那么就你们看到他这些的字过后，就像他看到他的真身一样。这个意思。这大概是这样意思。
那这底下还写了一些东西哈。这底下。
Legends say that Dusum Khyentse ceased his religious wanderings here. With the blood from his own nose, he wrote onto the rocks above that he travelled all across the Kham region, and that this place was the most beautiful. Although I couldn't find those words in the end, all you have to do is look around you, and you'll also find yourself slowly falling in love with Dalchung's beauty. There's a saying here, come to Sula to see the sun rise, and go to Bung River to see the sun set. And what better way is there to finish off the day's sightseeing than by visiting a natural hot spring?
I've had a very long day's worth of cycling around, and I'm going to treat myself to this Rubuchaka hot spring, which is around a 20-minute ride outside of town. I'll see you in a bit.
It may not look like it, but the water here supplies every single household in Dalchung. There are many family-run bathhouses in Rubuchaka, and tourists will often come here to relax after a tiring day, or indeed even stay for the night.
So it's actually really cheap. This place is around 10 RMB per room, and this is mine. I need to go in and change, so give me a bit of privacy.
After an entire day of sweating on my bike, it was a great feeling to sit back and let the hot spring waters wash everything away.
I've had a great soak. I'm dressed up in traditional Tibetan attire, and we're going to go get some grub.
It's not often I don my Khampa clothing, but I've gone and got specially dressed up just for this dinner.
Oh, nice. My friends have invited me to a very traditional Tibetan dinner, and the spread looks awesome. 这都是什么东西啊？
菜都是那个什么，都是那个藏餐。来喝茶。
Nice. Yeah, butter tea, my favourite.
这是野菜粥，牛肉炖的野菜。这个是牛血肠。然后这个是牛肉包。这个是奶渣包。这个是土豆包。这个是牛肉蘸水吃的。然后这个是手抓牛肉。这个是牛舌。
牛舌。
对，牛舌。
This is a whole yak's tongue.
This was a veritable feast by any standard, and I was touched by how far my friends had gone to welcome me.
This is yak's tongue. Let's give it a try. It's actually really good.
谢谢啊。
你看，我今天就是为了跟你们吃饭，专门穿着这件最传统的衣服。
那我为了跟你吃饭还穿那么现代的衣服，咱俩穿反了。为了我们今天把衣服。
In hindsight, we probably should have set a dress code.
巴西德勒。
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 Shangri-La, a fabled utopia of mystical mountain valleys and a very real paradise on earth. Join Travelogue on a whirlwind adventure as we search for this lost land. Along the way, we'll encounter breathtaking scenery, fascinating cultures, and treacherous mountain paths. From the hardships we endure to the euphoria we enjoy, Travelogue takes you to some of the most spectacular parts of China. Join us on our fantastic 5-part adventure, Discovering Shangri-La.
The dinner was a great send-off, and in the morning we continued on towards Xiangcheng. A word of warning, Tibetan foods are high in oil, so take care not to eat anything that's gone cold, as it'll give you a serious stomach upset, something I had the honour of experiencing. Don't worry though, Xiangcheng's altitude is much lower than Daocheng's, and at just 2 hours drive away, its pleasant surroundings make it a great spot to rest and nurse yourself back to health.
So we've arrived in Xiangcheng, which is around 2,800 meters above sea level, and it's markedly different from Daocheng because not only is the sea level different, but the climate and the weather's actually a lot warmer and a lot more comfortable for me.
My first impression of Xiangcheng is that it's just so clean, and as soon as you enter town, you'll see its magnificent lamassery sat on top of a hill.
I've come to the Songpiling Lamassery here on Bamu Mountain, one of the most important lamasseries in the Sichuan Tibetan area, as I've been told that if I'm lucky, I can catch the lamas debating their Buddhist doctrines in the morning. Let's go see.
The ling in Songpiling denotes its grandness, and it's one of the 3 most important Gelug lamasseries in Kan. The others are the lamassery we visited in Litang, which is known as Tubten Chokaling in Tibetan, and the Songzangling lamassery in Zhongdian. This lamassery is also a place of learning, and lamas will gather in the classrooms to learn scriptures and the sciences. To test their knowledge, lamas often hold scripture debates out in the courtyard. They'll ask each other questions, clapping their hands to emphasize their point. Respondents can choose whether or not to answer, but answer wrongly and they'll get a clap on the head, which is motivation enough if you ask me. Xiangcheng is very different to other towns. Its pure white houses look like a string of pearls in the mountains. The people here work hard to maintain them. Even the women help out with manual labour, and you'll often find them singing work songs to keep morale high and also keep people moving in tune. As this place has been around since Princess Wencheng's time, almost 1400 years ago, the dresses here are incredibly unique. This is because they've been influenced by a combination of traditional Han Chinese, Nasi and Tibetan styles.
I've just run into these guys dancing to celebrate their harvest, and you can really tell how happy they are. And their dresses, they look really intricate. The clothing looks like something I've never seen before.
And if your subject is willing and patient enough, you'll find that the dress will have exactly 108 folds, a number that's considered auspicious in Buddhism. It looked like everyone had a great laugh, and with the festivities over, it was time for the villagers to go back to their towering homes.
Okay. This lovely lady here has been ever so kind and invited me to go check out her house.
I've honestly never seen such a grand and well-kept Tibetan house before. It literally looked like a castle. I've heard that all the houses here are painted white because Tibetans consider it an auspicious colour, and the materials used also help to prevent rainwater from seeping in through the walls.
Hey, 好，谢谢。哎，你们好。哎，加斯勒，加斯勒。你好，你好。哎，好。Wow. They've got a really intricate house, and I love all of these decorations. I've not really seen them anywhere else.
The people of Xiangcheng really appreciate the little things in life, and you can see it in the kind of lives they lead. It's why homes here are so lovingly decorated and looked after, and why every household enjoys growing their own orchard. Where else would you be invited to join in with llamas having lunch with their families? There's a kind of tranquility to be found here, and it's no wonder why Xiangcheng is now being marketed as a refuge for weary travellers to come and refresh their spirits. With the environment in Tibetan regions as difficult as they are, I recommend staying for a while, so you can enjoy a slice of the harmonious life you can find here. If you do tire of taking it easy all day and want to go out for a night out on the town, Xiangcheng's got it covered as well. Traditional dance meets neon floors in the pubs here, so come and party it up with the locals and experience Xiangcheng's very unique nightlife.
So we're now on our way to Durong, which I've been told is a 170-kilometre drive from here, and it's going to be a very long ride.
Durong lies at the border between Sichuan and Yunnan province, and is the final section of Sichuan's Shangri-La. Although it takes a while to get there, there are many little villages dotted along the way that aren't on the tourist radar at all. If you have the time, I recommend stopping at a few and seeing what stories they might have to tell. You never know what little gems you might find.
So we found this nice little village called Niding, around 50 kilometres from Xiangcheng, and it's got these ponds full of wild fish. And since Tibetans don't eat fish, they worship them as a kind of water Buddha. These fish have been allowed to roam freely, and I think there are probably at least a couple thousand of them here.
By the time we did eventually reach Durong, it was already night time. Most travellers pass by Durong without stopping, but we had been told of a place that we just had to see.
After a very bumpy and rather dangerous 1-hour ride from Durong, we've arrived at Wongjia Lamasery, which is built into this huge cavern in the mountain face. And people come here to worship at this Lamasery, which is considered to be receiving a golden key to the 108 sacred mountains in the Tibetan area.
The name of this place loosely translates to Lamasery of 100 Oms, and I was told it was one of the first lamaseries in Ganzi Prefecture, built around the 8th century. Apparently, It was founded at the behest of legendary Padmasambhava, who essentially made Tibetan Buddhism what it is today. I was also told that I could find Oms, which are sacred syllables found in Tibetan mantras, occurring naturally in the rocks surrounding this lamasery. Try as I might, I didn't actually discover any sacred rocks, but don't let that discourage you from coming here and taking in the incredible atmosphere of this place.
It's really cold and refreshing, and I saw the llamas doing this. I'm gonna pat myself on the head for good luck as well.
The journey so far has been nothing short of spectacular, but our adventure across Sichuan is finally coming to a close. However, we do still have one more stop, and it takes us right into Yunnan's Shangri-La County.
I've cycled across highland pastures and poplar forests and met some incredibly warm-hearted people here, and I've grown to really admire their passion for life that comes from their strong religious belief and also their coexistence with nature. Once we cross over this bridge with the Jinsha River beneath, we'll leave Sichuan and enter the Yunnan region, where our journey will be nearing its end. But don't worry, because we've still got quite a lot left to see. I'm Taran, and we'll see you on the next episode of Travelogue.